Okay, freshmen. Let's try and wrap up this little last bit of invertebrates here by talking about our final phyla of invertebrates, the arthropods. And you can see, obviously, they belong to kingdom Animalia. And what I'm doing here, sort of cheating a little bit, I'm going to use Shakira's flowchart because she did a really nice job. And actually, most of you did a really nice job with it. I think it's kind of cool. You figured out the whole thing, and hopefully my video made sense, or however you did it, I don't know. But did a really nice job with it. So a lot of you did really good. But what you got out of this is the understanding of how a flowchart actually works and how arthropods are actually organized. So as we said up at the top here, we've got Kingdom Animalia, and obviously we've got all the different phyla to break it down into. And arthropods, what's really cool here about arthropods, arthro meaning arthritis and pod meaning feet. It's jointed appendages, or not arthritis, I'm sorry, arthro being joints, and then pod being feet, and you got jointed appendages. And so what they did is they threw all these critters in here that have some sort of like those walking type legs, jointed appendages. There's a lot of things out in nature that you can think about have that structure to them. But all of them have this basic idea. Open circulatory system, compound eyes, jointed appendages, said there's segmented bodies. Exoskeleton, remember what that is? That's the body where they have the skeleton on the outside. We have an endoskeleton, they have an exoskeleton. So those are all the characteristics that fit in there. So good job, Shakira, putting that all together, and all the rest of you that did it. But the key is that arthropods are so huge, the way you take this phyla and we break it down into 3 subphyla: Uniramia, crustaceans, and chelicerates or chelicerata. Now, each one of these, they have reasons for being in there. That the Uniramia, a lot of these guys have, well, certain characteristics. We go back here and showing with Uniramia. Ooh, right here, Uniramia. If we go to Uniramia, what we're looking at is, did I go to the right one here? No, I went to the wrong one. Sorry, kids, 1 second. There we go. Hold on. Okay. Uniramia, that still isn't what I was looking for. Just bear with me, boy. It's like we're in class. 3 subphyla, millipedes, insects. Okay. All right. So anyway, a lot of times with the Uniramia, what they have is got many different legs and segments to them. And going back to Kira's flowchart. No, where is it? No, where'd it go? No, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. The Uniramia is broken down into insectae, chelopods, and diplopods. And the biggest thing I want you to get out of this one, we want to spend most of our time looking at the insects. And with the insects, the whole idea is that they've got what we call a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. They got 3 parts to it, okay? 3 parts and how many legs? They got 3 parts and 6 legs. And is this the one here? Yes, okay. We've got head, thorax, and abdomen. So you think about when you look at a bee, you got your head, your thorax right here. And it's just like us. We got a thoracic cavity and the abdomen. Now, what's really kind of weird is this is actually where they breathe right through here, and they're going to get all their air through little sphericals. But head, thorax, abdomen. And typically 6 legs. Okay? So, again, going back to that, I really want you to make sure that's the biggest thing we want out of this with the Uniramia. These guys here, these are always the... you could look at it this way as being the roly-polies you see, laying on the cement once in a while, or the centipedes, millipedes. They all fit in here. Crustaceans, some ideas with crustaceans is that you get the class Melicostraca that are broken out of isopods and decapods. And where we're after with these guys here is that you really should know a lot about the decapods, because the decapods are the ones that you're going to be associated with when you go to a restaurant or you go to the Black Earth Creek. Deca, 10, pod, feet, 10 legs. Lobsters and crabs fit in here. Again, they've got an exoskeleton made of chitin, these guys here. And muscular structure, the whole works. But we used to do a lab with the crayfish, and I wish we were in class we do together. But again, so you have that order that we know that the crustaceans, this is where the decapods fit into crustaceans. And that's also where your saw bugs and pill bugs live, or in the isopods in Melicostraca also. And then we got 3 groups over here that belong to chelicerates. Now these guys here, all of them have these like biting mouth parts. So when we think about that, this is where another reason why we look into this. This is where all the ones that the bitiness can run into, where you're going to get your ticks and your, you're going to get your other ones in here. If I'm right, scorpions fit in here too, but the spiders, your mites, all fit into this, where the idea is we have the arachnids where they got 8 legs. They got your 2 body parts, your head and cephalothorax, or cephalothorax and abdomen, and they all fit under the arachnid area. But the idea is that we want to make sure that we know that the spiders fit into chelicerates because they have the biting mouth parts, okay? The horseshoe crabs, some of you guys have seen those in the ocean or seen pictures of them. Again, same thing. They got, biting or dagger-like mouth parts. But just so you realize that that's where we'd fit that. Always remember this. Spiders are not insects. Insects are not spiders. Okay, they're separate. But they belong to Arthropoda. And crustaceans, arthropods, you're going to hear these terms in and out the rest of your life. Arachnids, insecta, crustaceans. You'll run into it. But always remember that they are part of arthropods. Okay, that's all I really want to get out of this. I know there's a ton of stuff in there, but this was a really nice job of organizing this. And 1, showing me how you can do a flow chart. 2, how arthropods are organized. So that's really all we're after. And if we were in class, we do a lot more where they do a lab, that kind of stuff. But I want to wrap up with it and be done with it. Now, as far as your quiz, okay, what I'd like to do is going back to biology here, we'll go semester 2, and we look at the invertebrate, this entire unit here. Now, if you remember right, we did all kinds of stuff here dealing with, we don't have to worry about fungal kingdom or protist kingdom. Don't worry about those. Those are different kingdoms. But I'd like to ask a couple of questions about mollusks. Remember what mollusks are. You've got your different, you got your bivalves, your cephalopods, whatever. You want to make sure you go back and look some of that stuff. Peripheral sponges, and all of your jellyfish and all of your coral reef adventure. I'd like to ask a couple of questions about that. Simple worms. You've got your different phyla in here that you want to talk about, platyhelminthes and nematodes, and those in there then understand the basics, and annelids, the basics of why they're in there and why they're bad for us. Okay, and then the last thing we wrapped up here, oh crud, I don't even have it on there. Duh. Okay. But anyway, you see where I'm getting at here. And then the arthropods. And we just talked about that. Just the basics of arthropods. Make sure you know the difference between insects and spiders, body parts, what makes an arthropod, their body structure, what exoskeleton is, those kinds of things to wrap up the whole idea of invertebrates. All said and done, we've got quite a few phyla covered. Got arthropods, we've got mollusks, peripheral and all the phyla associated with simple worms. Okay, once we're done with that, it's time to move on to our last phyla. Chordates, the chordata. That's our last unit. That's where we're going to go through pig dissection, where, obviously you're not going to do it, but you're going to do a online version of it, a shorter version of it. And we're going to wrap up with us, technically. Pigs and us. Okay? So a short little quiz on Monday, and we'll talk about those things. Remember, don't worry about fungal kingdom, protist kingdom. We want to worry about arthropods, mollusks, peripheral and then the 3 phyla for simple worms, platyhelminthes, nematodes, and annelids. Okay? Take a look at that stuff, and it's going to be open note anyway, so big whoop, you'll be all right. Okay, freshmen, let me know if you got questions. Later.